And thank you for joining us on Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. I am Norlene Ebel Ame, and here is the news. Vice President Kashim Shettima has met with UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres at the UN headquarters to discuss key issues, including Nigeria's quest for a permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council and other matters of mutual interest. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
Nigeria at the United Nations building, aspiring to become a permanent member of the UN Security Council. The two leaders also held bilateral discussions focusing on achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, climate change, collaboration on strengthening democracy in Nigeria, and partnership forms part of the meeting.
We're also partnering with the UNDP on a regional partnership for democracy, security in the region, and the VP further emphasized the need for the UN to support Nigeria even more. We are aspiring to become a permanent member of the UN Security Council. In fact, it was the Secretary General that commended the Vice President for stressing that in his speech.
Was the SG's comment on artificial intelligence and their hope and expectation that Nigeria will continue to play a significant role there. I think he was extremely happy when we mentioned to him that Nigeria, just a few days ago, released our first multilingual, multimodal large languages, the first one on the African continent that is backed by any government. So that part of the conversation came out. Even when we were walking out, he still mentioned that he would love to see Nigeria also supporting other African countries to make sure that Africa is not left behind in artificial intelligence, that we can actually leverage it properly for development.
The Secretary General also assured us of continued support to improve our capacity, authenticate our National Social Register, and also bring more funds available to Nigeria for humanitarian intervention and poverty reduction activities.
Vice President Kashim Shettima also held a bilateral meeting with the Deputy Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, David Lammy. The UK and Nigerian leaders pledged to deepen cooperation in trade, defense and migration.
Kashim Shettima, the Vice President of Nigeria.
I relate with nations and organizations on the pedestal of equality.
The Vice President also attended the Global Leadership Council meeting, assuring that Nigeria is poised to leverage opportunities in the digital space to engage youths and empower women and girls.
So tomorrow is pregnant with possibilities. I can assure you all that Africa will rise, and it's already rising. And honestly, we have no business being poor, honestly. There's a new scramble for Africa. The scramble is for the scarce resources, for the rare minerals that will drive the transformation of the next 20, 30, 40 years.
The macro environment is actually quite attractive.
The Global Leadership Council meeting held at UNICEF headquarters brought together heads of state and other key stakeholders to analyze and co-create and deliver innovative solutions on a global scale. From New York, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
In a similar news, Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, has commended the national statement delivered at the 80th United Nations General Assembly. Vice President Kashim Shettima, on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, describing it as bold and inclusive, deeply rooted in Africa's realities. The minister in a statement says the address struck the right balance between national priorities and regional obligations, while positioning Nigeria as a strong advocate, calling for UN reform, fair economic structures and shared responsibility for peace and security in Africa. And back here in Nigeria, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has clarified its June operation in Asaba, Delta State, where 8 children were rescued from an orphanage, dismissing social media claims of adoption. Speaking at the press briefing in Abuja, NAPTIP Director General Binta Adamu Bello described the mission as a lawful effort to combat child trafficking tied to investigations into missing children from Kano State. Addressing accusations from the orphanage's proprietor, Christopher Ogugwa Ngoye, who has avoided agency summons, Binta emphasized NAPTIP's mandate under the Trafficking in Persons Prohibition Enforcement and Administration Act 2015 to investigate and rescue victims.
It's important to restate that the rescue operation by operatives of the agency at Happy Home Orphanage was not an abduction, as the agency does not engage in such action, but a lawful undertaking under the Traffic in Persons Prohibition Enforcement and Administration of Act 2015, which empowers NAPTIP to investigate, rescue, and prosecute cases of trafficking, abduction, and related offenses. We therefore call on all those laying claims to the children to make themselves available to the agency for further investigation.
She reaffirmed NAPTIP's commitment to concluding the investigation, prosecuting defenders, and reuniting the children with their families. NAPTIP thanked the media for their support and reiterated its dedication to protecting vulnerable persons through lawful means, maintaining a zero-tolerance stance on unethical practices. To boost the fight against illicit drugs in Nigeria, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has commissioned a canine complex donated by German government in Lagos. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, commended the German government for its numerous supports to NDLEA, noting that the sniffer dogs have been instrumental to the seizure of over 17.932 metric tons of various illicit substances since their deployment in the agency. The German Consul General, Mr. Daniel Krul, said the success of NDLEA's operation is not only helping to keep Nigeria safe, but also of great benefit to Germany. The commissioning of the new NDLEA dock facility marks a significant milestone in the history of the collaboration between the agency and the government of the Federal Republic of Germany. Now, the Kano State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps parades 19 suspects for vandalizing critical national assets. The Commandant Bala Bawa Bodinga says the coordinated sting operation leading to the arrest cut across 5 local government areas. Elizabeth Yila Lamido reports. Bulletin. Let's move forward. Behind every fallen hero is a family left behind to carry on the heavy weight of grief and survival. The National Defense College Officers' Wives Association is championing the cause to empower the healing processes of widows of fallen heroes. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
The sound of guns at the battlefield may have ended for their husbands, but for many widows of the fallen heroes, the battle is far from over. The trauma of sudden loss and the doubting reality of being both mother and father to their children, these are silent wounds that hardly make news.
The brave men of the Nigerian military who paid the ultimate price for...
To address this, The National Defense College Officers' Wives Association organized this workshop to help widows of the fallen heroes move beyond the grief.
To ensure that the women know that they have a support system here, and to give them key take-homes that they can use, practicalize through their journey in widowhood, not just to always be down. There will be those down moments, but we wanted to make sure that they are empowered to go on this journey of widowhood.
It doesn't matter the phase of grief they experience, whether the wave, whether the high or the low. I am confident that they are going home with tools, natural tools, but not just the widows, but every other wife that is here, every other person that attended. They now know how to support somebody going through grief.
The trauma may never fully fade. Experts say with initiatives like this, these widows of the fallen heroes are finding courage to turn pain into purpose. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
On court proceedings, the Federal High Court in Abuja has dismissed the non-case submission filed by the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The presiding judge, Justice James Omotosho, gave the order in a ruling of the defendant's no-case submission after the prosecution has closed his case. Dele Atumbi of our judiciary desk reports.
In this terrorism trial of the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, the prosecution, after calling the fifth prosecution witness, closed its case in June 2025. After the prosecution has closed its case, the defense team entered a no-case submission to the court. In the ruling, Justice James Omotosho ordered Nnamdi Kanu to enter his defense as the prosecution has established a prima facie case against him. The dismissal of the no-case submission signaled the fact that prosecution has presented sufficient terrorism evidence warranting the explanation of the defendant. In another development, Justice James Omotosho ordered the president of the Nigerian Medical Association to constitute a team of medical experts to ascertain the health status of Nnamdi Kanu. The committee was given 8 days to submit its reports to the court for consideration on whether to transfer Kanu to the National Hospital for treatment or not. Justice James Omotosho, while issuing the order, also said that the committee, among others, should visit the hospital of the Department of the State Service to confirm whether it has capacity to meet the health needs of Nnamdi Kanu or not. Justice Omotosho said the NMA's committee should be at liberty to make use of any hospital in the country to carry out its investigation. He said the committee should comprise 8 to 10 members of the NMA and shall have cardiologists and neurologists. The case has been adjourned to 8 October 2025 for the defendant to open its defense. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
In other news, modern warfare has evolved significantly, with technology playing a pivotal role in determining military combat readiness, with the Nigerian Army leveraging on this opportunity to deliver on their constitutional roles through research and collaborative efforts. This is the focus of 2025 Research and Development Test and Evaluation Conference of the Training and Doctrine Command of the Nigerian Army, MINA. Hussein Musa reports.
Research and development play a pivotal role in technological advancement, industrialization and development all over the world. It is in view of this that the Nigerian Army has over the years invested in research and development to enhance capacity and keep pace with its transformational drive, multifaceted, dynamic and evolving security challenges in line with its constitutional rule.
The period will also afford us the opportunity to share knowledge and brainstorm on new frontiers in emerging technologies and ideas, discussions on latest technologies and trends in research and development, and how these can be utilized in modern warfare to facilitate success in the battlefield.
The conference, which brought together sister security agencies within Niger State, will in the next 3 days explore synergies in the areas of information sharing, enhanced response to emergency threats, and cooperation for increased efficiency to strengthen national security. Emena Hussein Musa, NTA News.
And talking politics now, the National Caucus of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, has received a major boost as its leading presidential aspirants have pledged to rally behind whoever emerges as the party's standard bearer for the 2027 general election. At an emergency caucus meeting in Abuja, the party's interim national chairman, David Mark, led other executive members in discussions aimed at consolidating party unity. Statement signed by the interim National Publicity Secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi, the aspirants agreed to support the eventual winner of the primaries in order to strengthen the ADC's chances in 2027. Former Vice President and 2023 People's Democratic Party PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate Peter Obi, and former Rivers State Governor Chibuike Amechi are among the top figures expected to join for the party's ticket. Although Obi, who is currently in the United States, was absent from the meeting, Abdullahi confirmed that he conveyed his commitment to abide by the party's decision. The caucus further directed members to resign their membership of other political parties, though no specific timeline was provided. Those present at the caucus include Atiku Abubakar, Nasir El-Rufai, former Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal, former Kwara State Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed, and ADC National Secretary Ogbeni Rau. Still talking politics, a political body named North Central has sustained appeal for the consideration of the zone in the arrangements of national political administration of the country for equity, transparency, and sense of belonging. The group said, since independence, the North Central geopolitical zone has not been factored into the political equation of the country at the center and called for political compromise and solidarity for the zone.
We are still saying we have the best portfolio, or if you like, credentials, to bring this country together, given the rising dichotomy or divide between the northern political class and the southern political class. You need a bridge. You need a middleman. You need a referee to say, you calm down, the fight is over. So this is the kind of value we are bringing politically from the northern zone towards the Nigerian project.
The group also commended the establishment of the North Central Development Commission under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and urged the present management to imbibe the principles of probity, accountability and integrity in running the commission. Hingino John Adams is in our Lagos Network Center and she has more stories to deliver to us. Over to you, Hingino.
Nolin, and welcome to Lagos. To entrench the tradition of collective efforts in safeguarding the nation's critical assets, and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC Lagos State Command has spearheaded a stakeholders collaboration meeting in creating strategic plan towards safeguarding the infrastructures under the Critical National Assets and Infrastructure Protection Guide. Lanre Belay has details.
The increasing attacks on the nation's public infrastructure by terror groups and vandals led to the inauguration of Coordinating Council for Critical National Assets and Infrastructure Protection in Nigeria, SINAI. This is evident that decisive steps towards tackling national assets, vandalization and theft have begun. The primary action is to harmonize and strengthen cooperation amongst critical stakeholders from security agents, infrastructure owners and operators, as well as communities.
Going forward, we will have further engagement with security agencies alone, and on the second approach, we'll be having engagement with business owners and operators of this critical national asset and infrastructure. And the third will be with the communities.
We, Excellency the President, on the recommendation of the National Security Advisor, passed the executive order, the Critical National Information Infrastructure Executive Order. And that's what has galvanized the activity that we are seeing today.
Spearheaded by the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps as part of their mandate, this strategic meeting seeks to bolster ties of stakeholders in Lagos and create deliberate plans in tackling public assets critical to the socio-economic growth of the country.
It was a closed-door meeting among the security agencies, which they called a technical session to strategize on better ways to protect national assets. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
Now to other matters. To drive better media engagement, the Nigerian Communications Commission has convened editors for an interactive session to deepen insights into Nigeria's telecom landscape and foster collaborative discourse on key industry development and regulatory perspectives. Adejoke Odeka has details. Understanding, they say, breeds collaboration. The Nigerian Communications Commission has convened an interactive media forum to highlight its regulatory strategies, key guidelines, and current telecom industry challenges.
We've agreed a 5-stage strategy. The first is let's even do a better job with the regulation. Also the cybersecurity framework for the industry, which we're about to launch. Now in this digital age, you cannot ignore cyber threats.
One of the top complaints that we get from consumers is data depletion. We are trying to talk to consumers to ensure that they are aware of why their data is being depleted and how they're using it and how to adjust their habits to economize their data.
We are actually making sure that all our decisions are data-led. We're collecting the data from the service providers of all these challenges so we can see exactly where we are.
On the progress of the industry, the Commission says transparency and accountability is of utmost importance, and this will foster trust among stakeholders while contributing to a more robust and responsive telecommunications environment in Nigeria.
We're already seeing investor confidence come back. We're seeing the investments come in. We're seeing the networks being upgraded. And we're beginning to see, even though very slightly, network performance improve.
As regulators, the Commission is asserting its commitment to establishing robust frameworks, thereby translating its strategic vision and proposed solutions into tangible outcomes, underscoring a proactive stance in shaping Nigeria's telecommunications landscape. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News. That's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues immaculately after the break.
The Renewed Hope Initiative RHI presents the RHI Green Nigeria Challenge. Go green today for a greener tomorrow. This national competition is in 3 categories. The household category is a tree planting competition amongst 11 frontline states in northern Nigeria. Each participating household in Adamawa, Borno, Bauchi, Gombe, Jigawa, Kano, Katsina, Kebbi, Sokoto, Yobe and Zamfara states will plant a minimum of 1 tree to qualify, with a video evidence of before and after the tree planting exercise. 20 million naira will be awarded to the best household. Submission deadline is 20th December 2026. Community category will see local governments, local communities, schools and NGOs reclaim and transform degraded or abandoned areas such as dump sites, landfills, parks and their likes into green, vibrant gardens, parks and eco-friendly spaces. 50 million naira would be awarded to the overall best community group. Deadline for submission is 15th July 2026. States category will have all states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, excluding Enugu State, have a chance to address the growing threats to environmental sustainability and cleanliness. States on the number of trees planted on major roads and inner streets and how clean they are. 100 million naira will be awarded to the best performing state. Already, Enugu State has 100 million naira for being RHI's model green state due to its greenery and cleanliness. Video evidence must be submitted by participating states on or before 20th December 2026. All entries must be directed to RHI Office, State House, Abuja, or email rhi.greenchallenge@statehouse.gov.ng. RHI Green Nigeria Challenge. Go green today for a greener tomorrow.
In the beating heart of Owerri, business never sleeps. From sunrise to sundown, the wheels keep turning. And behind the scenes, vision meets action. Governor Hope Uzodimma's leadership has turned manifestos into reality, transformations that feels like a miracle. But progress needs peace, and in Imo, it's not left to chance. From land to sky to river deep, guardians are watching, protecting dreams and opportunity. At Orashi's quiet shore, hydropower is rising, set to energize a growing economy. The change is visible. New roads emerge, industry hums, communities come alive. At the center, a digital revolution. 500,000 young minds trained each year to build the future. As Orashi rises, so does Imo and the hopes of a hard-working people. A new Imo is on the rise.
Nigeria at 65, a continental giant takes another step forward, navigating the contradiction fueled by a colorful and resourcefully diverse populace, yet questions linger on the destination of state, propelled by the vagaries of nationhood. What is your contribution to this journey? Join the NTA, an eclectic mix of everything Nigerian, from the academic deans to the street kings, who will lend their voices on the platform that has always been a part of the journey. The NTA on October 1st, 2025.
Welcome back to Abuja from Lagos on Nationwide. The Kano State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps parades 19 suspects for vandalizing critical national assets. The Commandant Balabawa Bodinga says the coordinated sting operation leading to the arrest cut across 5 local government areas. Elizabeth Iyila Lamido's report is ready now.
The State Commandant of the NSCDC, Balabawa Bodinga, explained that the arrests were made in Madobi, Tudunwada, Gwale, Minjibir and Kumboso local government areas. This follows a credible intelligence and swift tactical responses from area commands and divisional officers. The suspects, he noted, were intercepted while attempting to vandalize public utilities, including electrical installations, communication cables and drainage slabs.
The NSCDC under my watch as the State Commandant Kano will remain resolute in making sure that its constitutional mandate is being safeguarded and critical national asset and infrastructure are being protected.
Recovered exhibits from the operations include rolls of aluminium and armored cables, transformer cables and motorcycle, as well as working implements such as shovels, diggers, broken soldering irons and locally improvised tools. Some suspects were also found with illegal substances used in carrying out their illicit activities. The Commandant emphasized that the Corps would not tolerate any attempt to sabotage the state's infrastructure, describing the latest arrest as deterrent. In Kano, Elizabeth Yilalamido, NTA News.
From Kano, we take you to Makurdi, where Fatima Hassan is standing by with more stories on Nationwide. Hello, Fatima.
For joining us in Makurdi. The Nigerian Air Force has inducted 29 personnel drawn from Nigeria and allied nations into the Air Force War College following their completion of the 9-month course. Minister of Defense Mohammed Badaru Abubakar at the graduation ceremony of the Air War Course 11-2025 urged the knowledge acquired to surmount emerging security challenges in Nigeria. Elias Etiaf has more.
The Minister of Defense, represented by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, while appreciating the graduates of the course 11/2025 for enduring the pressure and demands of the program, urged them to uphold the spirit of synergy and joint efforts, as it is the only way to overcoming emerging security challenges, including insurgency and terrorism. He commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for prioritizing capacity building among military personnel.
As you return to your respective units and formations, you carry a heavier weight of responsibility. You are now the vanguard of strategic thoughts. Your nation and the armed forces look up to you to deliver.
The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Bala Abubakar, and the Commandant of the Air Force War College Nigeria, Air Vice Marshal Babatunde Phillips, described the ceremony as a milestone in living up to modern warfare.
As informed leaders and decision makers in your own right, you must view Nigeria's security challenges through the lens of the wider global war on terror.
Course 11 has proven that with dedication and guidance, we can shape leaders of vision, character, and courage.
Governor Hyacinth Elia, represented by the Deputy Governor Sam Ode, lauded the contributions of the military in safeguarding the nation.
We will continue to partner with the Nigerian Air Force and other security agencies in fostering peace.
The graduation ceremony was climaxed by the presentation of certificates to graduates, presentation of awards to participants themselves in the course of the 9-month program, as well as the unveiling of the Air Power Vanguard magazine of the War College. In Makurdi, Elias Etiaf, NTA News.
On infrastructural development, road users in Benue State have applauded the state government for making the Makurdi Underpass Bridge project a reality. Blessing Omeche Ebute, who has an update on the 90% completed project, reports that motorists are now enjoying a new lease of life with the opening up of the project.
That was the demolition of the then high-level roundabout in 2023 that paved way for the construction of the first ever underpass bridge in Benue State. From huge excavations to massive concrete work, the contractor continued steadily with his job, aiming at completing the project within the time frame. Blockage of the construction area and creation of diversions caused inconveniences for some motorists and a trader like Lucky Daniel.
The time they start this work, it really affects our business because most of our customers, before they will enter here, they need to turn somewhere. Maybe they will turn that place or turn this side. And sometimes most of the security in this place, they used to drive our customer, so they will not enter our shop. No, now they open the road now.
The saying, no pain, no gain, comes alive as the difficult times have bettered an aesthetic beauty and seamless traffic. This development has earned commendations from residents for Governor Hyacinth Elia.
It's a welcome development. We appreciate the fact that we are seeing this kind of developments in Benue State and Makurdi to be precise.
With this kind of project he's doing, all he needs our support and encouragement. As you can see, the state capital is wearing a new look.
As they await the finishing touches of the bridge, they are optimistic that similar people-oriented projects are in the pipeline. In Makurdi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Makurdi. It's back to Nolin in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Fatima Hassan. The Hadejia Jamare River Basin Development Authority has launched a major desilting operation along the Mai-Alambo axis. The cleanup of waterways, including the removal of aquatic grasses, is designed to restore the free flow of water to Lake Chad, a lifeline for thousands who depend on farming, fishing and livestock rearing. Yohana Suhasan Barrow reports.
Mai-Alambo is one of the areas badly affected by tapa grass, a stubborn aquatic plant whose presence disrupts farming activities, blocks irrigation channels, and sometimes triggers flooding. This is why the Hadejia Jamare River Basin Development Authority swung into action, emphasis and sand along the waterways that drains into the Lake Chad Basin.
We decided to immediately start an emergency